Welcome to Gold Coast Insider, where we bring you business insights, stories, opportunities, and forecasts from movers and shakers across the Gold Coast. I'm your host, Estelle Rodiguero. I'm CEO of Regional Development Australia Gold Coast. It's my pleasure to welcome and chat to my guest today, who is Lewis de Jesus. Lewis has over 26 years of experience in engineering design, senior management, and project management. He is the founder and director of Mexx Engineering Proprietary Limited. He holds qualifications in electromechanical engineering and is proficient in motion technology, hydraulics, electrical, and electronic systems, as well as manufacturing methods and rapid prototyping. Hi, Lewis, and welcome. Great that you're able to chat to me today.
Hi, Stella. How are you?
Good. Now, I think we'll all be able to tell that you were originally from Canada. What brought you to Australia and specifically the Gold Coast? Let's start there.
Look, I think when me and my wife got married in Canada in university, we wanted to raise a family, and we looked around for doing in a much warmer climate than what Canada is. And Australia being very close to being a Commonwealth country like Canada, we found that was the best move for us. So we applied for our visas and moved to Australia. And the rest is all history. We actually chose the Gold Coast as a location to live because it's such a beautiful place to live, and for our careers, it was close to everything we needed. At the time, we were working in Brisbane as we then moved our careers onto the Gold Coast, and I started Mexx Engineering back in 2006.
Wow. Okay. But why Australia? So you're in Canada, and I think we had this conversation back some time ago that Australia wasn't one of the most obvious choices for people in Canada. And they were saying to you, why Australia? Where is it? Are there any people there?
Look, and to be honest, our driver was climate. We love the outdoors, we love nature, and I think we would get kind of bit frustrated. Like, yes, you have snow in Canada, you have beautiful outdoors as well, and in a lot of parts of Canada, it's very, very, very beautiful wilderness. But unless you're in that summer season or your winter season, you've got half the year of you can't be outside. It's sort of either muddy or somewhere in the middle. So it really that really frustrated us, being young and being ambitious and loving the outdoors. So we wanted somewhere else to raise a family. So we looked around, and we decided to move to Australia.
That's where the pin dropped, was it? Through the dart.
Oh, it was a lot of late night analysis, and we knew we were going to get married. So when we get married, where are we going to go? And that was our obvious choice.
So, another not so obvious choice is, what drew you initially to the field of automation and robotics, particularly in the context of manufacturing? Was it something that you had a desire through school? Was it something that was obvious to you?
Look, I think school is really important. It teaches you the basics. You look at what's possible. And I think what's really important is not just what you learn, but you learn how to learn. You learn about what can I figure out? You understand the technology, and they go, wow, how do I apply this technology to solve real world problems? And I really enjoy solving problems. I love doing the things that don't think things you can actually do. Those are really exciting. Like, okay, well, let's solve a problem. How do we make this work? And an automation does give you some advantages. You get that reliability, you get the efficiencies, but you get that consistency. And then sometimes you change your process. And I see it all the time in manufacturing where a process has been developed around what's available for you right now in terms of your manual lathe or whatever you're doing, and that's fine. And then you want to upscale, you want to get higher volumes, you look at automation. And sometimes the process that you've selected, because you're limited by the human, what we can do and how fast we can do it, is one way. You may choose to do a different process and realize, oh, well, there's a better way of making my product if I put it through a machine, because obviously we're not going to handle hot things as people. There's things that we shouldn't be doing because of the hazard of speed. So the automation it allows those things to occur. So you can make things in a different way. And that really gives your business an advantage in the world market, opens up market share, and changes the way you look at how you make things.
Okay, so probably it's good to move straight on to Mexx Engineering and the unique approach that you take in designing and developing manufacturing and automation and solutions, I guess. And so can we take a step back, and can you talk me, what is Mexx Engineering?
So Mexx Engineering, our business is we basically design, manufacture, build, commission warranty service automation systems, from a very small system, which may be a small system, a small little robot cell or a very dedicated unit, to a very complex plant. So we'll do a whole plant automation, including autonomous vehicles moving around. We develop our own custom autonomous vehicles that can do a task. We develop custom machinery to do certain tasks, whether it's feeding product, making product. It could be in a production line environment where you're assembling products. Several. Let's say you do a complex assembly, you might have parts moving around through an indexing system. Some of those assembly processes may be done with a robot or an automated system. Others may be done by a person, so they work with the system. So you may leave some of the more intricate, more things that people are really great at. You need those people to do. You do the more tedious things with the automation. You take those off the hands of the person. The person needs to spend more time in the things that matter. Yeah. So really, and there's a large array of industries that we service. And once you really understand the technology, whether you do this technology in mining, in construction, in food and beverage, in pharmaceuticals, the motors are motors, robots are robots. You might use them in a different way because of the industry they're in, but the way that they operate, the things that matter, the sensors you use, the vision system, for that, you got to make the machine has to know what's going on. Can't just do things in an open environment. It has to register, just like your eyes do, like your hands do. You have to, it's easier when it sees things that can validate what it's doing and correcting itself and know when things are going wrong. The machine actually works really reliably. We do service a large array of industries because the way we approach the automation is through how to solve your problem. And solving a problem sometimes means you want to solve a problem here in this, and right, let's say you want to package something, but maybe the way to package something, maybe you go back in how you made it in the first place and change how you made it so it's more easy to package. And that's something to change a process.
So it's really about automating those processes which are really quite tedious and repetitive, isn't it? And I guess and I think automation and robotics is really the whole. It's moved rapidly. It's moving forward rapidly. I mean, you've only got to look at the vacuum cleaners, those robotics now that can just go and clean all your floors while you're at work. So it is an evolving thing, and it is rapidly evolving, isn't it?
It is, and you're right. It's the robot cleaner, which is like a little autonomous vacuum cleaner. We now build our own. We've got a partnership with Siemens, doing some robotic technology with them as well. And we're doing autonomous vehicles that move around a factory. The neat thing that we're doing, I think that's really interesting, is that we're actually we develop the mechanical system around what's required. If you want to move around a device, no matter what it is, we can make a robot that suits that, moving that part around. Are you moving around tubs? Are you moving around trolleys? Are you moving around something else? It doesn't really matter. You move around half a car. We can do all those things if that's what was required. It's a different type of autonomous vehicle. And what that does is it helps move products around a factory in a different way than what's normal. Like instead of having a conveyor, you could have autonomous vehicles, and therefore you could change your process. Therefore, you might have a unit that paints, a unit that assembles, a unit that does options. So this autonomous vehicle moving around to different stations can let you customize how you make your products. And therefore it gives you a larger market share, allows you to be adaptive to your customers' needs.
Oh yeah. And surely it also is more sustainable. It can add to more sustainability within your company, and productivity and even safety. You can even look at safety around that, I guess.
Look, safety is a really big one. So a lot of times you're doing processes that, whether it's repetitive injury condition, you have to do the safety repetitively. It's not, the human body is just not designed for that. So this is where the robots take over these repetitive, tedious tasks as much as possible, and for safety, and then it really improves the worker safety of the environment. Also, take away the like, for example, for robotic welding. The gases, certain standards. It's a really harsh environment to be welding all day. But to have a robot doing some of that more heavy welds with lots of fumes and extracting those fumes, making the environment safe. And you as a boilermaker can do more of the high tech setting up and doing some of the welds, but not as much volume. It puts you in a much safer environment.
And then let's talk about sustainability and the use of energy and waste management, because I think robotics can play a big role in supporting companies into, into all those different aspects of their business.
And that is true. I think one of the big parts of automation robotics is data. And when you capture all the data, you can really analyze what do I need to do. If I want to waste less water, what can I do to really how much water do I need? Can I reduce that by 10%? When you're a person, you're not as much in touch. You don't have control of everything to that finite amount that you do with the robot. Therefore, I can really the process is repeatable. Everything's the same every time. My energy consumption, my consuming of different products is the same. I can then fine tune that and reduce my my footprint on the environment, whether that's water wastage or a good one is look at painting. Maybe why you do robotic painting is to get rid of overspray because your robot can really fine tune brush and on the fly you can change your brush angle of your spray, and therefore you can really get to a point of spraying on the product, not over the product, and then therefore you waste less paint. So I think the numbers around the 20 to 40% paint savings when you do robotic painting compared to a person painting.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And that spray painting one's a really good example, isn't it, of how we can save costs in company, but get a continuous product quality. And I think that's important because I think consumers want that nowadays, don't they?
Well, it's really important because if you think about it, how simplistic it really is. If you're spraying that and it's spraying at a certain rate of paint, and then you're moving a robot at a very accurate pace, you can control how thick the colored paint is on the product very reliably. It's not like you went over a spot twice. You haven't changed it, so you get so you put just the right amount of paint onto the product is what you need to give you the quality that you're looking for. Therefore, you're not wasting product. Customers not paying more than what they need to for the product because they've got just enough paint. You don't want too much. You want too little. Quality is by whatever you define it. And if you find to be, I want that product to last 20 years out in the marine environment, then that's how much paint you put on it. You want the product to look good, be leaving the factory, but once it leaves, it's digging a hole in the ground. You don't mind. You don't want to waste a lot of money putting thick paint on when it's gonna be gone in some areas. You can choose whatever you want, and that's what you get.
Yeah. So can you share some more examples of some of the sectors or industries that you provide automation for? And I guess I'm trying to get an understanding of how do you have to be a big company in order to start looking at that automation and that robotics? Do you need to get a critical mass?
Not necessarily. Look, we do have a new division of Mexx being launched next few weeks, which is called Mexx as well. So
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a second. But yes, automation can be small, it can be large. It may be a semi-automated process where you're just automating a very small part of your process. And maybe you want to automate the whole plant. I want to make something a different way. And I want to make a whole room fully automatic that doesn't need a lot of manual intervention. All of that is possible. It really depends on what your needs are. But really, an automation system could be about the cost of a skilled labor. Is sort of a basic automation. And like with the example of the robotic weld cells, we're doing some collaborative units now. That is the idea. That works. It's like you have a boilermaker, he's great, but you need more volume through your business. You're doing more complex things, and you might hire him an apprentice. And right now, hiring anyone now is very difficult. The staff shortages, but you can buy a robot system, which is about the very similar cost to labor, and they work alongside the boilermaker. The boilermaker could set them up. Takes a few seconds to set up a new weld. He starts welding, and you go off and do something else. Well, this may be doing a few large runs. There's, I won't go into detail. We developed a lot of nice software around that to allow you to very easily, without doing any coding, just grabbing it, moving it, touching a button, and it welds. And there's nothing to do. Yeah, so it's great. Yeah.
So it's really easy for a company to just be able to pick up that sort of innovation and robotics and just put it into your company. You don't have to change all your systems. You don't have to you don't have to have a particular software package. Nothing.
Yeah, no, we're really. I'm almost looking at the robotics. The new system that we're developing around MexBots is almost like an appliance.
Wow.
It's just an appliance. You buy it, you put it down. Very easy to operate. We can train you to operate it within minutes. An hour, you're done. You know how to run it. The intention is that we would deliver this to you in a box We don't even go on the site. You open a box, you read the manual, just like running an appliance, and you can operate it. You don't need our intervention at all. So you're not paying for that extra engineering support, extra engineering costs. Of course, you're there to support you if you want extra help. We're always going to be available, but it's really developing the root system so it does it all, so it's easy to work. So it's easy for the average person who doesn't want to learn. I don't want to be a robot programmer. I just want to do. I want to do this task.
Yep.
You don't need to be a robot programmer. It really is just
Wow.
simple to use.
And when are you launching that product?
That's launching now. We have a few demos that we're doing now, but that website's launching next couple of weeks. The product is ready. We've been testing it for last over a year now. We got some laser welding, we got some MIG welding. We're doing some units with the magnetic bases they can put on side of ships or side of big excavator buckets in the mining. So we've got all these devices coming out into the industry. So it is a whole range of products. There'll be some cobalt painting as well. With some advanced scanning options. We're looking at estimating on the development where we'll scan the products and automatically paint it without even having to do anything. So you say, I want to paint this, you click on the faces within your screen and it just paints it all.
That's unbelievable. Okay, so one of the questions or one of the statements I hear a lot when we start talking about robotics and automated systems is people are going to lose their jobs.
Look, I think that's misplaced.
Yeah.
Look, I do lots of automation systems. I have for many years, and I don't really see people losing their jobs. I see jobs transferring. Most businesses' issues is growth. Their growth is stagnated by not being able to get the skilled labor or the labor to do their tasks. All you're doing is freeing up resources. Let people do what they're great at, and let the robots do the physical things. Move the people on to run that cell. So you as a person doing a certain task, you put an automation to do that task. And now the company can now produce much more volume and much more efficiently because now you got a robot running it. Now your job may be operating that machine or operating two machines or doing a totally different task. It depends. Very rarely do I see actually a cut in staff. It's usually just a change. The company's trying to grow, and most companies I speak to want to grow and can't get the labor to do the tasks, and that's what the automation is supposed to do. Fills in that gap.
Yeah. So it releases the mundane jobs to allow the staff to do the more intricate work that supports the companies to grow and diversify, I guess, to a lot of extent.
Yeah, correct. And look, and people have to look at it as like it's an opportunity to upskill. It's an opportunity to have more satisfaction in the role that you're doing. Working on an advanced piece of machinery. It's interesting. It gives you some more job satisfaction. You're not doing those mundane, repetitive tasks that may be hurting your wrist, hurting your back, bending over, picking things up. All those things that we really shouldn't be doing doing it once in a while is okay as part of a task. But when you're doing it repetitive and trying to get volume out, these things are arduous on the body. Your body starts to suffer over time.
So I've heard you say that or mention that the Gold Coast should be the next tech hub of Australia. Look, I'm all for that.
Look, I am too. It's why I put my business here. When I started Mexx, I had a factory in Yatla for a few years, and then I moved down to Arundel, where we are now. Look, I attract engineers from around the world and around Australia. And look, we are trying to look great place to live. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like the Gold Coast has everything. It isn't just a tourist attraction. I mean, we live here. I live on the southern part of the coast on an acre property. I've got the ocean at my fingertips. I can walk to the ocean, go for a swim. I go for a bike ride in the forest. I go for nature walks through Mount Marine. I got everything around me. So as a business, I'm trying to attract world leading engineers to use some really high tech technology, and I want to invite their families. So it's a work life balance. You come to work. We have to be creative. Our minds can't be full of stress and annoyances. We want to be clear minded. Yeah. And Australia and the Gold Coast being not a massive city, there's not all this noise pollution and the sort of that environment where you really feel free. Or you go to work, you come home, you have a beautiful evening. I sit down and have a matcha and look at the forest every morning. It clears your mind. You're ready for the challenges of the day. You solve them. You go home. Family's happy. Everyone's happy. And really, that's the environment. And we're building a state-of-the-art facility here. We have one now. We have very high-tech equipment. And I really believe in that high-tech environment.
So you started the company in 1999 or no, 2006?
That's correct. That was the
Right.
second third Mexx.
So in 2006 on the Gold Coast, when you first started, what have you seen the growth like? And has it been a slow growth, or have you seen the growth go and then suddenly spike? Like, what is happening in that world of that advanced manufacturing?
And I definitely seen a growth. Look, we're currently involved with the universities as well. We do internships every year. We have interns from both Griffith and QUT at the moment.
Yep.
And we're also talking to Bond and seeing if they're engineering. They don't have an engineering program yet, but we're hoping they get one, being such an amazing university. And I think that's really and so as a city, I've seen the growth. I've seen the growth in skill sets. But
Yep.
look, at the end of the day, you learn. The most important thing within your education sector is you got to get the basics right. You got to learn technology, know it well. I think you need to apply it within a business. The learning never really stops. The learning doesn't stop when you finish university. The learning just starts. But you've got the foundations right. You're ready. And look, and the world being such everything's online. You're learning doesn't. You can get access to anything. I mean, we obviously buy a lot of things from local suppliers, but if we have to buy certain technology from a country or overseas, we do. We can buy them out of Europe. We can buy them out of the US. If we need something that we don't have here, we can buy it. So you have access to the world is your oyster. You can get access to everything. And being on the Gold Coast gives us that beautiful ability to be, again, in a beautiful location, work-life balance. Traffic is great. It's like, to be honest with you, over the last 10 years, when we first moved down here, we used to go to Brisbane a lot to get some of the things we wanted for shopping and get more selection. Don't need to anymore. I mean, people come down, they look at a new Pacific Fair, or they're new town center. They're mind-boggling. I mean, I have friends from Canada coming to visit, and they go, "These are shopping centers. It's beautiful. It's airy. It's a beautiful. You feel like oxygen. It's just so reviving. Like I really do love the logos.
I know it comes out in your tone. You really think a lot of, and like, I'm really pleased that you started your business here, because you have actually highlighted that transformation into that different economy and into the different growth sector, which also allows students and kids going to school who are really interested in robotics. It shows them that there is a pathway right here on the Gold Coast as well for what they're trying to achieve and what their passion is.
There is we currently have some QUT students doing their final year project. We're developing, without telling you too much about some of this new technology we're developing also some quadruped robots. And that technology is not new to us, but we're developing how it works and conjunctions so it can work around doing other tasks. So we're doing some really new advanced things. So with what we do is we do the automation, we do the robotics, we do the factory automation from simple conveyors to complex robots. But we're also looking at some autonomous vehicles and autonomous systems and these sort of wine systems, which are easy for the small SMEs to take on automation without spending. You look at spending, about the cost of an employee of a tradesman, and that's realistic. So now, hey, I've got to make. I can't hire the extra boilermaker; it's just not available.
Yep.
But I could buy a robot cell. I can lease it out. It's going to cost me probably as much, a little bit less than what that salary is going to cost me. And now I have the ability to double my production, triple my production. And with all the new algorithms we've written within that software to allow you to do multiple welds and build things up very quickly, we have samples. It's incredible, the quality. We're dealing with some advanced technologies as well, which I'm open to details. We're dealing with some stuff with the defense, within this using those type of robots as well, both laser and MIG. So look, some nice technology out there.
And I guess it's also the ability to work potentially 24/7. Like,
yes,
the sky's the limit for you as a business to have the advantage of not having to watch time. You can just keep rolling with it. When you get demand in, you can service that demand because you have a robot which is able to do that.
It's one of the biggest advantages of automation that most businesses undervalue. Let's say you're a jobbing shop, you're doing some robotic welding, you've got 2 or 3 of my little robots running around,
Yep.
and all of a sudden you get a big job. You want to tender for a big mining contract to build something that fits within your purpose, and you want to tender for it. But you know that if you get the job, you got to deliver within 3 months. Then you got to hire staff, 3
Yep.
shifts, but you've got robots. You can then let the robot do the welding. You can use less skilled staff. I mean, people that aren't necessarily a boilermaker who do the job. The robot will do the welding, and that person may just be loading a fixture. That's all they're doing. So that labor is easier to find. Therefore, you now have the ability to multiply your business overnight. You go from a single shift operation to a 3-shift operation within days. And now you're doing 3 times the work. And that allows you to satisfy those contracts.
So do you think they'd get to a stage where companies, and if they're big mining companies or whoever, and you're tendering, that if you have some sort of automation or robotic system within your company or your factory, that you would be viewed probably a little bit more positively?
Well, I believe you have to be, because if a company looks at you and says, "Do you have the capacity to meet our requirements right
Yeah.
now?" You say, "Well, no, but we'll acquire it over next month." There's a risk that they can't acquire that capacity. But if they said, "Well, we already have invested X amount of dollars, we have all these robots that weld at this rate, therefore we can put down X amount of meters of welding material per minute." The capacity is there. You can validate that right now we could turn this out and we could be making your product within a week from now, rather than a month or a month and a half or 2 months, hopefully starting to make production if you can find the staff. And right now, job ads for robotic welding, I'm using robotic welding as an example. It's really, really good one. The job ads, it's like, I think there's over 700 or 7,000. There's lots of job ads for welder makers. There's just not enough of them. And it's stagnating the industry.
So it's a win-win situation. So it allows the businesses complete confidence to tender and know exactly what their bottom line costing is, because if you're automated, you actually know to the finite point what your costs are going to be involved. There's not going to be that wastage. There's not going to be that, so you've got waste management, you've got safety, you've got everything. But then also at the other end, the company that you're tendering to will have more confidence because you're an automated system, or to a large extent. So therefore, they've got confidence that it's not reliant on whether you can get staff or down days or whatever's happening.
Well, you have the ability to make up any shortfalls or do some higher. There's a jump in, but all of a sudden there's let's see, we make machines that do bottle handling as well for making milk and doing other things as well. Or we make machines that handle food. So if you want to make more cakes, now you got an automated cake making machine that's also automatically loading product, it's filling it automatically, it's packaging it, sending it to an oven system automatically. Then all of a sudden, if you need to do volumes, you don't have to worry about the month delay in getting staff hired, trained, start doing the work. You can turn to a two shift operation within days if you want to, just as fast as you can get it running. You can shift a couple employees from first shift to second shift, operate some machinery. All of a sudden, you're running two shifts.
Yeah,
there is really that ability to multiply, which is really key when you're trying to get those tenders, or trying to win some new business.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see the absolute advantage in that. So if we were to look back on your journey of moving to Australia and building your business right here on the Gold Coast, which you are clearly very passionate about, and I share that passion, what are some of the key lessons that you've learned along your way?
Look, I think one of the key things is to remain true to your ethos, to your ethics of your business. I believe in a high quality product. I want to bring the industry with me. I want to make the industry think different ways. I don't want to be just another meat tube automation company that, yes, we do robotic palleting, we do conveying. Yeah, we can do all that, and we do when it's necessary. But we want to also think outside the box. If you didn't have any barriers, how do you want your business to run? How do you want to make this product? What would make your product better? What would make your business better to gain more market share, to do things that no one else can do in the world that gives you an advantage? Let's automate. Let's take advantage into those things. Let's do things differently and in a way that no one else can do, and that gives you market share. Look, we have a unique opportunity coming to us on the Gold Coast. We have the Olympics coming in 8 years. Coming to Brisbane. I think it's a great opportunity to show the world what we do here on the Gold Coast. And I'm involved in some other things on the Gold Coast. There's a lot of nice technology on the Gold Coast. There's some defense work being done. It's quite impressive when you see how much work and technology is actually happening on the Gold Coast. People don't realize it. I think we need to showcase our ability. And once you see our ability, our location, our weather, it's like it's the best place to be.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And like, you raised a really good point. You raised the Olympics 2032. And I guess it's an ideal opportunity for us to showcase some of these, the advanced technologies that you're talking about as well.
Yeah, and look, it's sometimes we don't understand. Like, we're here in Australia, we don't want to see the global impression of us. But I can tell you, when I moved here in 1999, most of my friends didn't know. I think I might have mentioned this. They didn't know what Australia was or what I was doing there. And I think the Olympics in Sydney changed that. Because after the Olympics, they're like, "Wow, you went there. What a great move. That place looks beautiful." That was Sydney. Now, I think we got a chance to do that now for the Gold Coast. So let the world see that, hey, we're a big, vibrant city. with every amenity that you need. Yes, we're not a Sydney or a Melbourne or Brisbane even, but we have everything. There's nothing that you're lacking here on the Gold Coast.
Hmm. So my final question, it's so interesting. I could talk to you for so long, but my final question, and this is to all the up and coming young entrepreneurs or engineers or professionals out there, what advice would you give young engineers and probably kids that are young adults that are at high school now, that are looking to enter that field of automation and robotics in manufacturing?
Look, it's a beautiful field with massive reach across the many industries. So once you've got those basics right, whether I did control systems in school, or you're doing mechatronics, or you're doing mechanical engineering with the emphasis on robotics or computer sciences, and you're looking at AI, you're looking at technology and so you can then branch off into many industries, whether it's ours, whether it's working directly for defense, or whether it's working for a prime business that like Boeing or your Rheinmetals. So once you have that really grounded ability within the technology sector, whether it's server robotics or again AI or computer sciences, that opens up these doorways. I mean, it just is so many opportunities. Yes, we are one of them, and I think we do things. We do things that we're doing automations. We're doing a lot of variety of different things. We're quite advanced. We basically use new technology whenever it's available to us, and I encourage most of those students to get in touch with us when we have our internships and look at what we do. But it's a very rewarding field. It's a field that it takes you to wherever you want to take it. And really, the drive is up to the individual to where their passion lies. If their passion's flying and avionics, well, then you should do that and then approach people like Boeing's and people like Gilmore Space and talk about and see where's my opportunities here, because you love that idea of flying and things and rockets and so then follow that passion and that base technology allowed you to do that those skills.
Hmm. Oh, look, it's been really good speaking with you today. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, I'm going to put a link to your webpage on the bottom of this podcast for everyone who's listening. And I urge you to get in contact with Lewis and have a chat to him if this is a field that you're interested in learning more about. But thank you so much for coming on today and taking the time, Lewis. I know you're extremely busy, so.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening today. For a complete list of podcast episodes and transcripts, go to rdagoldcoast.org.au/podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter.